Caitlin Clark has been named the Time Magazine Player of the Year, Athlete of the Year, excuse me.
Forbes just dropped their 2025 list of the most powerful females in sports. And guess who is sitting at number 4? Caitlin Clark, the highest-ranked athlete on the entire list. Not just any superstar making waves, but the woman who turned an $8.1 million season into a total reset of what female athletes can earn. But here's where it gets wild. Aya Wilson, who landed at number 15, has had a reaction that is downright unhinged. We're talking about a pattern of jealousy that started with Clark's Nike deal and has now hit a boiling point. The numbers don't lie, and neither do Wilson's public meltdowns. Before we break it all down, answer this. Why do you think Aya Wilson is so jealous of Caitlin Clark? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk money. The average WNBA rookie walks away with around $60,000 in year one. Caitlin Clark walked away with $8.1 million. Not a typo. That kind of jump made veteran players question everything they thought they knew about earning power in women's basketball. Her WNBA salary? Basically pocket change compared to what happened off the court. The league minimum sits around $64,000, and Clark's base salary wasn't much higher. But here's the insane part. While other rookies were budgeting groceries and splitting rent, Clark was in boardrooms negotiating deals bigger than some franchise valuations. The Nike contract set the entire tone. 8 years. $28 million guaranteed. That one deal alone put Clark in territory no WNBA player had ever sniffed. Most veterans haven't seen endorsement checks even close to that. Clark secured generational wealth before her first pro game ever tipped off.
Envy. They're human. I'm not surprised that we're seeing envy, but envy, a feeling of discontented or resentful longing aroused by someone else's possessions, qualities, or luck. With Caitlin Clark, it's not at all luck. But what we're seeing, and not generalizing, not by every WNBA player, but by
Caitlin Clark has been named Time Magazine Athlete of the Year. This is a big-time accomplishment for the young rookie already. Bro, Caitlin Clark has been breaking records, setting records.
But Nike was just the beginning. Gatorade came calling next, and this partnership put Clark and company reserved for the absolute elite. We're talking the same brand tier as LeBron James and Serena Williams. No WNBA athlete had ever reached that level of corporate recognition. Gatorade doesn't hand out deals to just anyone. They invest in athletes who move products and shift culture. Wilson's Sporting Goods added another layer to Clark's rising empire. Not just any endorsement, but a partnership that made her the face of basketballs and equipment across major sports retailers, their first endorsement of this scale since Michael Jordan. Every time someone walks into a store and sees Clark's face on a basketball display, that's revenue flowing straight into her accounts. Speaking engagements became another money stream that left players stunned. Clark started commanding appearance fees at corporate events and conferences that exceeded what some WNBA athletes earn in entire seasons. Companies weren't just paying for her basketball IQ, they were paying for her ability to draw crowds and generate buzz. But the television numbers tell the real story behind her earning power. Games featuring Clark saw viewership skyrocket by 400% compared to typical WNBA broadcasts. Networks started bidding against each other for rights to air Fever games. Advertisers lined up to buy commercial slots during Clark appearances. Revenue streams that never existed in women's basketball suddenly became major profit machines. Stadium attendance followed the same script. Cities hosting Fever games saw ticket sales surge beyond anything they'd ever seen. Merchandise sales spiked everywhere Clark played. Local businesses around arenas reported massive boosts in foot traffic on game days. Clark wasn't just playing basketball, she was driving economic activity across entire metropolitan areas.
When you're talking about GOATs of the W, I need my name to be up there, at least top 3. Like, that's my goal, is like, I want something like, when you're thinking of women's basketball, when you're thinking of the W, I want my name to.
Her social media presence translated directly into marketing value brands couldn't ignore. Millions of followers engaged with every post, creating advertising reach traditional sports marketing rarely touches. Companies realized Clark could reach demographics that had never shown interest in women's basketball before. The Forbes ranking as the top basketball earner made the financial gap impossible to ignore. Clark's $8.1 million dwarfed the next closest player, Sabrina Ionescu, at $6. $3 million. That gap represents the premium brands were willing to pay for Clark's unmatched blend of talent and marketability. Corporate America saw what fans already knew. Clark had something special that couldn't be taught or replicated. Her appeal stretched far beyond the court because she brought new audiences into the sport while keeping longtime fans locked in. Her financial success proved female athletes could command serious money when they delivered the right mix of performance and personality. Clark didn't just break earning records. She redefined what was possible for women's basketball in terms of commercial pull and market value. But certain veterans watched all this with growing resentment, setting the stage for reactions that exposed how threatened some established players felt. Wilson's bitterness didn't appear out of nowhere. This jealousy had been simmering for months, bubbling through social media posts and interviews that made her feelings about Clark's rise painfully clear. The pattern started early and only intensified as Clark's star kept getting brighter. The Nike deal announcement was the first crack in Wilson's composure. While Clark celebrated her historic contract, Wilson jumped on social media with posts questioning why rookies were getting treatment veterans spent years fighting for. She never mentioned Clark by name, but the timing made her target obvious. Wilson started sharing old photos of herself with Nike executives, reminding everyone she had brand relationships too. That subtle campaign quickly turned into something far more obvious. Over the next week, Wilson posted daily content about veteran accomplishments, newcomer expectations, and the importance of paying dues. Every post felt like a direct response to Clark dominating sports headlines. Wilson's Instagram stories became a running commentary on media hype and undeserved attention. The "I have a shoe too" campaign became her most desperate attempt to reclaim the spotlight. She started posting photos of her Nike signature shoe from every angle, tagging Nike in stories about veteran loyalty and long-term partnership. Wilson even began sharing throwback content from her shoe launch events, something she had never done consistently before. Then Clark entered the picture again. Time magazine's Athlete of the Year announcement pushed Wilson over another edge. Her congratulations post for Caitlin Clark lasted exactly one sentence, with zero personal message or excitement. Compare that to the multi-paragraph celebrations Wilson posts when other players win awards. Her social media history shows she normally goes all out supporting fellow athletes, which made her lukewarm response to Clark impossible to ignore. The timing of Wilson's own shoe struggles made everything worse. Her Nike signature model wasn't moving units, while Clark's endorsements dominated sports business headlines. Retail reports showed Wilson's shoes sitting on shelves, while anything connected to Clark sold out instantly. Wilson couldn't escape the comparison between her established but stagnant brand presence and Clark's explosive market appeal. The speaking engagement jealousy became even clearer when Wilson suddenly started posting about her appearance fees, something she had never talked about publicly before. She began sharing backstage photos from corporate events and mentioning speaking opportunities in ways that felt forced and unnatural. Wilson had been doing corporate appearances for years without ever broadcasting them. But once Clark's high-profile speaking deals hit headlines, Wilson suddenly wanted everyone to know about her own bookings. Wilson's social media tone shifted toward questioning Clark's actual impact on the sport. She posted statistics about veteran scoring records, longtime WNBA viewership, and established player contributions, all framed in ways that read like direct responses to Clark's coverage. She started using phrases like real impact and sustained excellence, clearly aimed at downplaying Clark's achievements. Her comments about media attention became more pointed as the season went on. Wilson began making subtle digs about height versus substance and the importance of proving yourself over time. These weren't general comments about the league. Her timing and wording made it obvious she was reacting to Clark's continued success and expanding influence. The pattern exposes Wilson's real issue with Clark's rise. This isn't about basketball performance or team success. Wilson's jealousy stems from watching someone else become the face of women's basketball almost overnight. She spent years building her brand and establishing herself as a league cornerstone, only to watch Clark surpass her relevance in a matter of months. Wilson's behavior reflects a veteran who can't handle sharing the spotlight with someone more talented and more marketable. Her passive-aggressive posts, lukewarm congratulations, and pointed comments about hype all reveal a player threatened by the shift happening in her own sport. The Forbes ranking announcement became the moment Wilson's jealousy finally exploded into public view. All those months of subtle undermining and social media campaigns culminated in reactions that exposed her true feelings about Clark's success and influence. Forbes doesn't play around when ranking the most powerful women in sports. Their methodology digs into real numbers that matter: earnings, social media reach, endorsement value, and cultural impact across 5 key sectors. Clark dominated every category that counted, leaving the competition scrambling to keep up. The ranking process uses a weighted formula that prioritizes financial control and industry influence. Forbes analyzed proprietary team valuations, company revenue, media mentions, and social media engagement data. Clark's numbers in every category painted a picture of dominance that couldn't be ignored or disputed by anyone paying attention. Clark landed at number 4 on the overall list, making her the highest-ranked athlete among all the women included. She passed tennis legends who've spent decades building global brands. She surpassed Olympic champions with years of international recognition. Clark achieved in 1 year what many athletes spend entire careers chasing. Her social media presence exploded beyond established stars across multiple sports. Marketing executives took notice when her engagement rates consistently outperformed athletes with far larger followings. Raw follower numbers tell one story: engagement reveals real influence. Clark's posts generated interactions that translated into marketing value brands couldn't find anywhere else. The cultural impact measurement revealed something even more impressive. Clark brought completely new demographics into women's basketball. Families who had never watched the WNBA became regular viewers. Young girls started picking up basketball because they wanted to be like Clark. Corporate executives who had long ignored women's sports suddenly saw profit potential they had never recognized before. Forbes specifically highlighted Clark's ability to drive revenue far beyond her own earnings. Venues hosting fever games saw ticket sales surge. Cities experienced increased tourism and local business spikes on game days. Broadcast networks began bidding against each other for rights to air Clark's games. She generated economic ripple effects across entire communities wherever she played. Her crossover appeal into golf and other sports showed influence that went far beyond basketball. Clark participated in Pro-Am golf tournaments that drew mainstream media coverage. Sports networks featured her across multiple athletic events. This multi-sport visibility represented a level of recognition Wilson had never reached, despite years of trying to expand her brand. Her endorsement portfolio set her apart through its diversity. Brands didn't view Clark as just a basketball player. They saw her as a cultural figure with reach across multiple markets. Nike, Gatorade, and Wilson Sporting Goods each approached her differently, recognizing her ability to reach audiences outside traditional women's basketball. Her deals reflected marketing strategies typically reserved for global superstars who dominate multiple sports or entertainment industries. Clark's estimated $8.1 million in annual income signaled a major shift in how female athletes are valued. Forbes highlighted her financial success as proof of her rising influence and unmatched marketability. That number represented more than personal earnings. It showed what becomes possible when elite talent intersects with the right marketing approach and cultural moment. The ranking confirmed that Clark had become the most powerful force in women's sports, all within just 12 months of turning professional. Her placement above numerous nationally renowned athletes who had been building their careers for years showed just how unprecedented her rapid rise truly was. Forbes essentially confirmed what basketball fans already understood about Clark's impact on both the sport and the culture. The recognition followed her Time Magazine Athlete of the Year honor and her Associated Press Female Athlete of the Year award, forming a pattern of mainstream acknowledgement no WNBA player had ever seen before. Clark's presence cemented her as both a cultural and commercial force redefining expectations for women's sports. In 2024, she drove 26.5% of the WNBA's total economic activity while securing endorsement deals that highlighted her expanding influence across the sports business landscape. Wilson's reaction to Forbes crowning Clark as the most powerful female athlete exposed everything about her mindset and the toxic attitude she brings to the league. Clark's Forbes recognition proves that raw talent paired with authentic personality creates momentum that can't be stopped. Wilson's jealous outbursts show exactly what happens when established players feel their status slipping away. The numbers don't lie about who drives revenue and cultural relevance in women's basketball. The 2026 season represents everything Fever fans have been waiting for. They're witnessing the foundation of a dynasty built around a player who transcends sports entirely. Clark's influence stretches far beyond basketball courts into boardrooms and living rooms across America. Wilson can keep posting passive-aggressive stories and throwing public tantrums over the recognition she thinks she deserves. Clark's impact has already reshaped what female athletes can achieve, financially, culturally, and historically. Why do you think Wilson is so jealous of Caitlyn? Let me know down in the comments below.